allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Welcome to our board meeting tonight, and first I'd like to just thank the Glendale parent group for the supper again and the chili and the cinnamon rolls. It was wonderful. Thank you guys for doing that for us.
Thank you.
All right, so we'll move on to item 2. Any deletions or additions to the agenda? Okay. And item 3, approval of the agenda with additional bills.
Madam Chair, I'll move to approve the agenda with additional bills.
Thank you.
I'll second that.
Thank you. Any discussion or questions? All those in favor to approve the agenda with the additional bills, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, no. Move on to good things happening. We want to mention our boys and girls state champions in golf. Yay, good job, boys and girls.
The band got an excellent status.
Yeah. Thank you at the state march.
Yep.
All right. And right now, I'd like to pause for a minute and let Stacy Hill, she is our regional representative from the Wyoming School Board Association. The floor is yours, ma'am.
Good evening, thank you for having me. I'm a school board member from Douglas and I'm your WSBA representative. So I'm just here to kind of give you a quick update, see if there's anything that I can do to help. Do you guys were you using board docs through WSBA? So Diligent is doing away with board docs and they're moving over, WSBA is moving over to Sindley, which our district has used for several years. It's really a pretty neat program. If you guys were interested in it, it's nice to have your neighbors know all about it. And our board secretary, Sarah Eisner, is the queen of Sindley, and she could really help you guys if you wanted to onboard into that. WSBA wrote an amicus, a brief. There's a Curry brief in support of the school lawsuit. We just learned a couple weeks ago that that was rejected. There wasn't a reason given, but we think it's because what was in our brief, it was very similar to everything that they've already heard. But they did read it, so at least it's been presented to them. And then the last thing is that we have our state conference coming up next month. I hope that you guys can all come, and it's a great opportunity to connect with other board members across the state. I also have a plaque here for Sean she is now a master certified school board member. So these are points earned by attending conferences and other trainings just to work to become a better school board member. So thank you so much for that and congratulations. Thank you. Do you guys have any questions or do you need anything from WSBA? Brian and his team are always great to reach out to. I'm also the school board representative for the Professional Teaching Standards Board. That is very new to me, so you know when you're new in this seat and you don't know what you're doing, that's kind of how I feel on PTSD, but if anything comes up over there, you can reach out to me and I can certainly help you figure out if you have any questions or need anything.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you, Stacy. I appreciate your help. And then just our teaching today, leaving tomorrow. That's a hyperlink that anybody can look at.
Yeah.
Okay. Move on to correspondence. Seeing none. Oh, except I do have to, for the board, I do have a thank you card that I will let you guys read from the Weigels for the flowers. Sorry, I forgot to bring that out earlier. Any visitor comments? Okay. The consent agenda, item 7.
I would make a motion to approve the consent agenda.
I'll second that.
Any questions or comments on the consent agenda with additional bills? Okay, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed, no? Okay, we'll move on to information items and turn it over to Mr. Weigel.
Okay, just a couple items. The IBB committees, in our monthly kind of to-do list, what we look at each month, it says IBB. We haven't really started negotiations, but we do have 3 committees going on. We have the calendar committee. I met with them once, and they were kind of reviewing that with their association. They'll get back to us, and then I'll share with the leadership team. The pay scale committee, Jamie and I met with a couple of members, and we're kind of brainstorming maybe some work we can do before recalibration. And then the other committee would be all the policy work, and I think our subcommittees are just starting with that. I reached out to Leslie Arlen, and we kind of went through who was going to be in what committee, so they were all representatives from our association. So those are the 3 committees that are kind of ongoing this year with IBB. And then next, strategic plan data update. If you remember Josh, this is one of his projects in one of his classes last year, so he's kind of continuing some of the work, and he's going to share a little information with us. Josh?
Yeah, good evening, board members. So if you look at, it's also online, which may be a little bit easier to zoom in, but there's also paper copies. And sorry about the size of the print. It's trying to squeeze it onto one page is challenging. But tonight we just wanted to go over kind of the collective data that we've taken over the course of the school year from the last report. So goal number 1 in the strategic plan was to support student growth and achievement. And the first benchmark was to perform in the top 10 schools in all state assessment areas. So as we looked at the data from YTOP this last spring, we have 2 areas. Math, 10th grade math, they were 9th in the state. And science, they were, for 10th grade, but they were 11th. So remember that top 10 is easy for the kids to remember when we talk about it. It's easy for us adults to remember instead of saying, oh, we want a 1.3% increase.
Right.
We just say, the kids know top 10 means that you're doing pretty good. And so we had a couple areas where we did meet that. Below that, you see some tables there with some data. The first one is English language arts, and we have the state averages for the last several years, and then we've got our data for West, the middle school and high school on the right side of that. If it's green, it means we were above the state average for that school year. If it's red, we were below. So just trying to color code that. Remember, you don't see Glendo and elementary and middle school because of the numbers. It would be really easy to identify kids. And so we do have confidential data on that, but we don't report that out because they're less than 10 that were tested in those age groups. The next table is YTOP math, same format. Again, green was above the state average for that school year, red is below. The bottom table, I just pulled that as a district so you could see overall how we were performing over the last several years as compared to the state averages. So again, it's a little bit easier to zoom in online to look at it, but there's your YTOP data. The next set of data was ACT, and this is for this data comes from the graduating class of 25. So they were 19th in the state and 10th when we look at schools our size in the class 3A ranking.
Josh, does every kid take the ACT now, or is there a certain percentage per se that doesn't?
So all of our juniors take the ACT except those that are on alternative track.
Okay. Sounds good.
And this year, I don't know if you saw Superintendent Dagenfelder's press release. Wyoming this year, we're one of 9 states that test all juniors. And we were number 2 in the country out of all of those. I think we were by 1/10 of a point behind Nebraska on our state average. But there's only 9 states in the country that test all juniors. The next part, it relates to our accountability system. You can see Glendo Elementary, Glendo Junior High, Libby Elementary, West Elementary, the middle school, and the high school data. We reported last month on building level things that we're working on. Just wanted to make sure that this was in a nice, clean format for when we report it to our stakeholders. Peak High School is also on there under review. The next table is just information over the last 3 years about how our schools are performing. So just wanted to bring that to your attention in an easy table to read. And then we get down to graduation rate for the 23-24 cohort. Wheatland High School was at 90%, while the state average was 81.6. So we're doing a good job there. Peak High School was at 57%. The fourth item is working with students to be college, career, and military ready. Wheatland High School was 89% post-secondary ready from the accountability target. Peak High School had an index score of 20, which is exceeding. I should also mention Wheatland High School, that's also exceeding target, and we're ahead of the state average by about 20%. So pretty proud of that. And then just some notes there, we're in the second year of expanding the work experience opportunities and internships for Wheatland High School and Peak High School students by allowing internship and work hour combinations and allowing 9 through 12 Peak High School students and juniors at Wheatland High School to access those classes. Any questions on kind of the student data side of things?
So one thing I'm just going to mention, Josh, like for our first year, we didn't really have a focus as a district, so we're really on starting year 2, if you think about it. The first year was kind of trying to get things organized in the district, and so then year 2, we started our PLC work. We really started talking about collaboration, providing training, teaming, and all that. So really, we're only year 2, so you can look at the results academically. We're pretty good across the district, but the growth and equity are parts that I think the PLC process is really going to help us with. So be a little patient. It's not going on year 3, really it's going on year 2. So just to realize that.
Okay, and our second goal was to continue to support student and staff well-being. The first benchmark was to ensure that students and staff are physically safe. And so we did a certified staff and student wellness survey in the fall of 24 and the spring of 25. And so 1B, that's staff survey responses. In the fall we had 43 responses, in the spring we had 29. And out of those 29 responses, this was the data, some points of the data. I thought 72% feel happy and satisfied with their job, 65.5% feel supported, and 82.8% feel safe on their campuses.
You said that's all certified staff?
Certified staff. Okay. Yep. And then 1C, you can see some of the student survey information. In the fall, we had 407 responses from our students, and in the spring, we had 381. The first bullet there, 66 to 100% of K-12 students feel safe at school. That difference comes from, I think, Glendo, it was 100% safe. So we had just some different percentages at different schools. And then over 50% of K-12 students feel their teachers care about them. We'd like to see this one higher. I think this is one of our focuses as an admin team. We've taken our instructional framework, working with John, and last month our goal was to talk about culture, building relationships, and then this month, what are we on? Can't remember what the second one is. Planning for learning. So those things kind of address that, but we want to see that number higher. We want kids to know that, at least have one person that they know that they can go to and feel safe around. And we want all kids to know that their teachers care about them.
Yeah.
The second benchmark, provide opportunities for physical and mental well-being. We're continuing the mental health services through the grant from the state for this school year. And then continuing the physical health opportunities provided for all district staff with access to the weight rooms in Wheatland and in Glendale. The third bullet is that we want to communicate with parents and guardians about safety drills and crisis situations as needed. So we document those monthly safety drills, but we're also sending out, I would say, pre-drill messages along with the post-drill messages, just so parents are aware of what's going on in the buildings. One of the changes that we did, that I put in here, is that in Wheatland, our reunification site is now the Ponderosa Maintenance Building. So as we work as a team, we're trying to, if we have to evacuate a building, where do we go? And we feel that the Ponderosa building gives the ability to, for that reunification process. It's gated. We can control access coming in. We can get our staff over there to help with, the building secretaries. Here's our kids. Yes, we can ID those parents and have contact and get those kids back to their parents if we ever have to use that. And then communication of crisis situations from SROs to the superintendent and building principals. And then we've also implemented the communication through audio enhancement directly to Platte County Dispatch. So we've been talking for this a little bit. Our teachers in their classrooms have the audio enhancement system in their ceilings, and they wear the mic on a lanyard. And when they hit the panic buttons or the emergency buttons on both sides, not only does it go to the main office in the building, but it also now goes to the dispatch, and then we can coordinate with them on what's happening, and they get to see a little bit more about what's happening in that specific classroom, and then we can escalate it and say, yes, we need you right away. So just that communication piece with our law enforcement.
Do we have that capability here in Glendale, Josh?
Tom?
Do you know?
Yes.
Because I've noticed several of them wearing the lanyards with the mics. I just didn't know if that was built into that, Ryan, or if that's...
It's a district-wide server, so as long as the audio enhancement server is connected, which it is, to our district server, that's what the law enforcement will see.
So even here in any room, they can click that button and Platte
Yes.
Dispatch gets them and then...
Yes.
Okay.
I wonder if all the staff know that.
Well-
I'm sure a lot didn't know we even had even existed.
It's something we've talked about before. This was brought up a while back.
And it's
just one
been-
of those things that I didn't know where, as a district, we were with that, because there's several moving pieces right now with that kind of stuff.
Correct, and it's been a process, and the reason why no one really knows that it's been a process is because we're just now finalizing everything with the PD on how they respond to different things and programming. We had to go through a big programming shift to get all of this to work. However, every school does have the lanyards, and then once we have all the pieces together, there will be a training on how to use it.
Thank you.
And then goal number 3 is strategic plan goal performance reporting to the board, which is number 1 tonight. And then putting this information into that data sheet. That's the second page that you have, the single sheet. That's what goes on our website. And visiting with Mr. Weigel, just trying to figure out where a more, visible spot to put that on our website, and working with Mrs. Jones to get that all figured out, but making sure that our stakeholders can easily access that information. And those should all be hyperlinks. And we'll just continue to build out that document. And I believe that is also in the board policy, right? That page. So we want to have it more visible on our district page, but it's in the board policies as well.
So Josh, back to your responses here. Is that 50% of our certified staff that completed this? at 29 people, or is that, what is that? Because that doesn't seem like
Quarter
we're
to a
enough to
third.
get a good sample of what,
Quarter to a third.
quarter to a third. How do we get them to engage and do it?
That's something
Is
that
there
we've
some
talked
kind
about
of
too, is
incentive
like, well, we've talked about, Mr. Weigel's idea is maybe just a quick exit ticket, kind of, at a staff meeting
Yeah.
to get some of that feedback.
Gotcha.
This, I was looking, I think we gave this spring survey in the first week of May, and there's a lot going on the first week of May with state testing, there's district testing, track meets, softball, there's a lot going on in May. So just, we're trying to figure, yes, we would like those numbers to be higher.
And I like the exit statistic because you have a staff meeting, it'd be anonymous, right? You don't have to worry about who's looking at what, computer, URL or whatever. And I think we still have a little bit of the survey fatigue from years past, if you guys remember. When I first came, we heard too many surveys, we survey everything, and I think this still has a little bit of that to it. But I would love to switch to say, hey, during a staff meeting with your certified team, here's an exit ticket. You turn it in, once you leave, we could calculate those results. So we probably have to talk to some of our union folks and to say, hey, this is the purpose behind it. We want to get more input from more people to really see where we're at. So I wouldn't mind changing that. I actually like that.
I understand the survey fatigue and being overwhelmed with it, but it's kind of a double-edged sword. I don't know how else you would ask opinions.
Right.
I don't know, maybe I asked too much.
Well, I don't know of any easier way to get that kind of feedback. So, yeah, exit tickets, great idea.
Sounds good. Thanks, Josh.
Thank you.
Next, I'm going to have Troy come out and talk a little bit about the CDL program, that grant that was written, coordinating that with EWC. And Troy's been reaching out to some students and some parents, so he's just going to share a little information about that.
Good evening, thanks. So, of course, Josh wrote the grant, the cutting edge grant through Perkins, and got enough funding after exploring that potentially we can have 4 kids do the CDL training. Mr. Buckhammer had a meeting with EWC just a couple days ago and got lots of the specific information. Some of the specifics that it's going to eliminate a good portion of the seniors. You have to be 18 before March 1st. That's it. That's how EWC works. We have 27 that meet that. And so I wrote a letter to parents. I wrote a letter to the kids. We sent it out via email. And in 4 days, we have 10 kids already are interested. So I'm not sure if we can come up with more. Because, and who knows, we're going to sit down and we'll have a little team. We'll interview each of the kids, kind of see if there's any skin in the game for real or if it's just something they're exploring. And then once they commit, then there's a few other things they have to do. They have to have a drug test. They have to pass it, of course. They have to have the DOT physical. They have to have the CDL permit. And each of those has its own attached fee. The district's going to pay a little bit of that, but they'll have to pay some because it's getting good. We're going to start enrolling. We're having a meeting like next week or the very first week in November because dual enrollment is coming rather quickly. And it looks like if we have more than the 4, more than we can afford, we may have to go to like a random lottery type of thing out of the kids that seem to be real interested and see how that works.
What's it cost per driver?
It's $5,300 for tuition.
$5,300 plus the $125 for the DOT physical, plus I really don't know what a drug test costs, and I don't know what the other one's at $45 for the learner's permit, so a little bit up there, closer to clubs. So, I mean, you're getting closer to $5,600 probably by the time it's all said and done. So, but we're excited. There's a lot of kids coming in. I had 2 more come in today and says, "Who's all this for?" And we're going to put together a little routine that we can just interview the kids and talk to them. So, it's going to be a good opportunity. I know that they talked a little bit about Blaine helping do some of the training. I don't know how that's playing yet, and I know that the lady at EWC said they're still planning on bringing the truck here, not here, but Wheatland. And I don't know how it's all going to play, but as some truck drivers, I know there's some interested community members that called and said they really want to see how this plays out so they could maybe benefit their business. So possibly potential pathway as you move forward to the pipeline. So that's all there's to
Let's see, Ms. Wilson, you want to come up and talk a little bit about our major maintenance budget?
Sure. Good evening, everyone. I was asked tonight to present on major maintenance. You'll find with the first attachment, our major maintenance fund September ending cash balance was $1,961,677.13. We have received through October 2 of our major maintenance payments. Those come out quarterly. So our total October deposits was $503,106.06, and our October expenses was $303,901.72. So remaining would be $2.1 million. That's going to be looking more at like the cash. As far as budgetary goes, the budget was passed at $1.9 million, and year to date we have paid $803. However, that does include 2 of our major projects that we were looking at for the year, which would include the WHS bleachers and the district rekey. Those are 2 of your biggest projects that were on the agenda. So overall, as far as budgetary goes, you're looking at $1.1 million left to budget. And that's just if you want to end where you said you would. Doesn't mean you can't approve more. Doesn't mean that projects aren't going to finish. It's just a target. So also in attachment 2, just wanted it to be a reminder that later this evening you will vote on the pole vault pit. Later in the year you could see a budgetary transfer because of the savings that the school district is having by not rehiring their groundskeeper. That's a 3,000 series. So the pole vault pit would come out of the 1,000 series. So you would see possibly later in May a budgetary transfer from 3,000 series to 1,000 series. However, if you're under budget and you're 1,000, there's no need for the budget transfer.
Would that negatively affect us if we move that out of the 3,000 to 1,000? Because it's not a personnel thing?
No, it
Okay.
doesn't. It doesn't negative. It matters by the function level. I think you're going one level deeper into thinking about salaries and benefits as being a 1 and a 2. So you're just digging down one extra level.
Okay.
Any questions?
I just want to give you kudos for your artistic ability.
I like the Halloween thing.
I cannot take full credit for that. That is my glorious assistant, Heather. I say, here's all the facts, make it cutesy.
Hell of a good job.
Makes it fun to read. All right, thank you.
Yep.
Let's see, next, Mr. Toll, do you want to come up and visit about the 5-year facility plan update? He has a copy of
Good evening, everyone. Hopefully you had time to go through all this. You guys have seen my report. I mean, it's a working report, so it just constantly, as things come, change, we're constantly making those adjustments on priority and things. What I kind of want to, just for time's sake, focus on tonight is, if you look a couple down at school year 25, 26, kind of what we're working on right now. On that list, you'll see the district normal day-to-day. I don't put that on all these lists because we spend roughly $50,000 a month on everything from those little things that you just really don't care about. Most of these lists are those things that everyone asks questions about. So right now, just some updates. The high school sewer update, which isn't an actual major maintenance capital project, but just so you guys have an update, we have got the state moving on that side. We should it's, I think, 2 weeks from now, be able to, we've got all the bids coming in from the engineers to get that project actually pick the engineer and get it moving, which is a big one. And then also the same story on that west plumbing on the engineers have been putting in all their bids and everything. So we should be getting those engineers picked on those two big projects and getting them moving forward. A lot of us already met on that west, just the walls and doors. We're digging into some of that right now on just some different options. One of the other things you'll see on that list is the high school gym update, digging through some of the old plans, trying to find some of those old ideas and thoughts and kind of bring all that together so we can kind of get some ideas on how we might want to move that. One of the two big ones that I really want to look at getting kind of approved, which you'll see later tonight, is the Glenda rooftop units. We finally made headway with the state. They finally gave us a big thumbs up. Previously, major maintenance, they told us we could only replace what was existing. So we were running into the issue of trying to replace the old boiler system, which by the time we did all of that, it was to be $900,000, and it wouldn't have given us AC, and I mean, it would have just been a nightmare. They finally approved it for us to use major maintenance and put rooftop units on Glendo, which saves us half the money. It gives us AC and a better system all the way around. So that's one of them tonight that we need to talk about getting approved for. Major maintenance will cover the engineering costs to bring in an engineer to get that moving forward. The same with the Libby. We're in the same boat on that one, the AC units on that one. Those units on that wing are so far gone that we can't get any parts on that, so that's another one we really need to get moving on. Going through these, we're looking at flooring and paint in middle school, trying to get that moving. Audio video board, we haven't approved it yet. One of those things we're still kind of looking at. Vestibule safety glass, that we got a coming down the pipeline. Everything's boom. So I guess, do you guys have any questions on any of this? I could stand up here all night going line item by line item on the two big ones that we need to get moving forward is the Libby AC units and the Glendo one.
So I guess, Jim, those are your two priorities?
Those would be my two priorities. Everything else on this list, that's why it's a working list. And this is one of those things I really would love feedback from you guys as you go through this list and be like, hey, this is, for me, I see this as a priority, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, getting some feedback on that. Because my number one priority is always going to be the heating, the water systems, that thing. So when it comes to, we've had some questions about like middle school bleachers, some of those aren't always my top priority, but if it's something you guys want to see bumped up the list or down the list. A lot of this, though, we also go off of the state's reports. They came in a few years ago, went through school by school and put out rooftop, everything, giving a time frame on that. So a lot of this also matches up with their life expectancy of everything. So a lot of this is actually lined off of that facilities report that.
I guess we hire you to tell us what the priorities are, at least from my perspective.
Well,
and I'm not going to sit and second guess it. But if I looked at this, I wouldn't have known what you thought was a priority on this list. It's just a list when I look at it. And I would just soon look at the first one would be the top priority, and this is the reason, or you tell us the reason. And then somewhere along the line, we'll all know where that is at. And I understand, like if you're painting and stuff, that's just normal everyday stuff. But I mean like the ACs and the big ticket items, the great big ticket items, I would just soon say this is important for the students and the faculty and the staff to have us committed to the number one priority. Maybe the rest of the board doesn't see it that way. I like to see it that way, so I know what you're thinking, and then we can make decisions on that, and why you think that.
Yeah, I think that's a really good point. Also, it could possibly be part of the survey about, looking at feedback from staff, even from students on some of this, possibly, do you think?
I think when you talk about the middle school bleacher, I think the concern has been safety. So safety should move up in the priority if there's a safety concern. Because we've heard a little bit about some of the bleachers, and I don't know, are some of the boards broken, or when people step on them, do they move a little bit? I think that's a concern.
Some of the seats are.
Some of the seats? Yeah, so that's kind of a safety issue, and I don't know, Josh, if you see that, but we've heard that for 2 years now, I think. When we looked at the high school bleachers, then someone brought up one is the middle school because it's in need also. So I think safety has to be one of the reasons you'd move things up.
Yeah.
And I want to highlight real quick, you talked about the high school updates, or was it options, Jim? Yeah, so you said plan the high school gym updates. So that's in connection to the old junior high, just for you guys, for your own knowledge. They had some plans before. We know that one wall is a false wall. We might be able to do something with that. But that goes along with the Mercer study, the old junior high decision, what's going to happen. Those kind of go hand in hand together. So just so everybody knows, we're not adding anything, we're just saying those kind of go together. So,
Right.
yep.
So one question I got for you, Jim. The Peak building, correct me if I'm wrong, there's no AC in that building, is there?
No.
Is there any plan to put some AC in that building? We do have a full-time staff member that works in there. And then we have EWC stuff that's going on as well in that building. Is there any, I'm not saying it needs to be a priority right now, because obviously we've got a lot of things on the list that need to get done sooner rather than later, but I didn't know if we could at least add air to maybe 1 or 2 of those rooms.
Just so it is on the list for summer
Oh, okay, so I
2027.
didn't go down the list far enough.
We
so I
do put
apologize.
portables in there every summer.
Right.
I mean, it's not ideal, but
Yeah.
it does keep it. So yes, that is on the list for,
Okay. I apologize for not getting down the
no,
list
no,
that far.
you're good. And that's the trouble, even on my end, there's so many projects and they just shift so much. And so I try to pinpoint the ones that to me are, which is Glendale and Libby, like those are my 2. After that, all these things, I mean, paint and things can bounce in a little bit. But, so those are my 2 biggest priorities for this getting done for next school year, so those 2 systems. But, and then also just the water filtration softener systems we've been talking about across the district, just to make everything last longer.
Okay.
So,
I guess I'll ask
You
one
raising
more.
your hand?
Go ahead, I'm sorry.
I just wanted to go back to the plumbing issue at the high school. So is that one that you heard back from the state on?
the high school, yes, we had, about a month ago now, we had like 20 engineers come in and do a walkthrough, and then they put together, they're working on their proposal of their bid of how much to come in and plan out the whole project. So we should be seeing all those back in the next couple of weeks from that side for the high school.
So in proximity to, 2 other buildings right there close to them where we are having all the problem on that west side, I'm just wondering, is there anything happening with Libby as well, or
No.
the admin building?
We haven't seen anything on those at all
Okay,
with any kind of septic issues.
okay.
It's all, the way that line runs, it doesn't go near those, so it's not attached. But
Because it's coming out to the street,
Yeah.
right?
And so, and really it's just the one giant bow right under the school that's, the problem.
On the gym side?
Yeah, it's basically right under that gym side, so.
Okay.
but-
So, not to jump ahead, but what would be the projected time frame? I mean, because clearly it's going to need to be fixed.
Yeah, their plan right now is that once all these get back, I think her time frame is on the, and I should have brought that, I can send it to everyone, but it's, I think it's January for him to get in and run his scopes, do his planning, And then part of that's gonna have to be figuring out how to phase it out. Number one phase is gonna be the wood shop. That one is an easy fix, and that's one that we have the most issues with. It's the one that's acting like a septic tank right now that we have to drain every month. And so that one's actually a simple fix. So my guess is they're in their plan, they'll say, let's tackle that this coming summer and move forward. So hopefully, with her time frame, we should get bids and everything approved around May, and then hopefully someone in the summer to at least fix that portion. But the phasing out all of it until they have we know where all these lines are running, we're not really sure how it's going to get phased out.
Okay, and so once, I assume her that you're referring to as the engineer?
Sorry, it's Karen Moon with the state.
Okay.
that we work
And then
with, so.
once she gets all that data and figures out kind of the game plan, will she be presented or can we have that presented?
Yeah.
Okay.
When we get all that, we can present all that.
Okay, thank you.
Jim, can you share anything else about the Glendale building at all? Did you meet with Karen or anybody?
Yeah, we've had some discussions. We were actually up here 3 weeks ago or so, and looking at this the little gymnasium and trying to figure out a plan on what we can do on that. And I mean, they keep recommending that we just knock it down, but the thought would be to kind of remove that section and build a breezeway, a new entryway for the school, a breezeway that attaches across to the other, or the gym, and kind of a new entryway, which one gets our square footage allotment down from the amount of students. So that's one of their options they're tossing around.
And they would do a Mercer study.
And that's
correct?
the trouble, is they want us to do another study. Well, every time they throw that out, it turns into a 2 or 3 year. So we're moving forward on trying to figure out a plan on this one too, but it's a hard hurry up and wait kind of game.
Yeah.
So I guess some of the here and now issues that I've heard, there's issues with water coming out of faucets on this end of the building that is black. Is that water filtration system going to fix an issue like that, or do we know why that's happening?
This one, I haven't heard of it this year. Have you heard of some?
Yeah. In the last month, I've had 2 or 3 people say something to me about.
No one's
water
reached out
that's
to me this
sinking
month.
here. So I don't know, but I've heard that out of multiple people, that we still have an issue with water, mainly on this end of the building.
And so, yeah, no, I haven't heard anything this year from anyone on that side. So, here's something that we try.
It was something that was
And
brought up.
it's so random, and a lot of it, when they were doing a lot of this work out here on the streets and stuff, we saw a lot of it, but then it seemed like it cleared up. But yes, the filtration systems we're looking at would be, and that's one of the reasons we wanted the water here everywhere. It's just, there's so much in the water, is trying to get that cleaned up. One, long term, is that it'd save all of our systems from the buildups of just everything. So, but yeah.
Sounds good.
I'm good.
Good, thanks.
Thank you.
All right, so next in our packets and online are the PCED minutes, the September Parks and Recreation minutes. On to item B, under information items, the policy evaluation, and I'll have Mr. Weigel explain those.
Yeah, so those two policies, IIBG and IIBH, they need to be updated. I think they're back to 98, I believe. Ryan worked on this for us. And there's two things that need to be updated. The SIPA, that's that Child Internet Protection Act, that's one of the reasons they need to be updated. And then we have requirements through Title IV that they've told us if we want to get our grant approved, we have to have an updated policy. So those are the two reasons that are out for kind of evaluation, and we'll bring it to the policy committee for the 2 readings.
question. I'm not sure if it follows under policy evaluation here, or I might be jumping the gun and it doesn't fall to committees. But there was talk not long ago about splitting the policies up and dividing them up amongst us. But I said you could put me anywhere, and then I never heard where I'm supposed to go.
That's just in process now, right? 'Cause I
Okay,
just got
so we
mine.
haven't, yeah,
I just got mine yesterday, I think you sent it out, so.
okay, so I just.
All the facilitators have their groups, so.
Okay,
In process.
okay.
All right. Then we're on to the board reports and talk. We've got a couple of committees that are active right now. One, we have the safety committee, I guess is what we've named you, or whatever. So are you the representative, Clay? Who's
I
gonna?
can be, yes.
Yeah. Somebody wants to give us just a quick overview of that so people know what we're
So-
talking about. But
Several weeks ago, we met with Jimmy, Tom, and John there at West to look at the door issue we have with those classrooms. For those that don't know, it's an open concept building. There's no way to lock them down. We've got a few doors in there, but it's a security nightmare should we have an active shooter situation. So we looked at what is the minimal amount of doors that we need to install to be able to lock down 1 or 2 classrooms at a time. And we did do a walkthrough through the building. I think it was pretty productive. Kind of identified some places that it would be easier to do it, and kind of get a game plan. I think my goal, not to express the goal of the rest of the committee, would be to have something in place by the beginning of next school year. Obviously, we'd have to Jimmy'd have to get some bids out to contractors to see what it's going to take to put the 12, 14, whatever doors it is in, just enough to get the building where we can lock it down. But honestly, doing our walkthrough, it's not just really for security, it's more for the classrooms themselves. There's a lot of ambient noise between classrooms because of what's going on in one room versus the other. I know when I did parent-teacher conferences with my own child, they were talking about a fun activity they were doing in their classroom, but they were loud, and the classroom next to them was trying to do a writing prompt where they had to write some kind of informative slight essay or paragraph, and they know there was a big issue with that between the two rooms, because you got one really trying to focus and the other one having a really good time having some fun learning. So, I think it was a good productive walkthrough, and it's just a matter of keeping the ball moving forward on that project to try and get something done sooner rather than later, and give those teachers in there a little bit more security, or at least felt security with having just a few doors. It's time. We need to gain time. And I hate that we have to discuss that in that nature, but that's the nature of our world we live in now, is what can we do to give our students and staff time in the worst case scenario. So that's where the doors are, or at least we're at with that. We haven't had to set another meeting up or anything yet, but I think we had a good first meeting to kind of look at it and go through what was needed in there and not go crazy with it. So.
I'm sorry, just real quick, just to reiterate, the committee members, if anybody has any questions, comments, concerns, whatever, is Clay, myself, and Sean. Sorry?
Always open to suggestions, so.
Amanda or Sean have anything else to add to that?
No, I felt like we did some information gathering. The only other thing that we had discussed, and it's kind of similar to what Mr. Toll is talking about, with looking at the old plans to see what the intended purpose was of some of, because clearly we can see that maybe they originally planned for those to run the other way. Tom had thought that. And so, so the more we looked at that, there might be something that works out a little better by moving some of the walls that would enable us to. So it's just data collection and figuring out what might be more cost effective and just safer all the way across.
All right.
So other than safety, it sounds like learning environment is also a deal.
Yeah, those the movable walls and let it flow over the top. And then, I know like, in the 4th grade, showed you guys that, there's what, a 20-foot gap. And it's pretty easy to hear around that, so. And with all of them having speaker systems.
That's it. That was it for our meeting, I think.
Okay, so that'll be ongoing with more information to come. The next one is our Food Services Committee, which is me and Amanda and Diane are on that. And again, we want to reiterate to everyone, this is in no way, shape, or form negative towards our food service people we have now, or Director Marie. It's just trying to figure out how we can be more efficient, how we can serve better foods with the restrictions that are on the food service program right now. So either of you want to hit the highlights?
I would like to hear you say some of the identified challenges.
Okay, since I have my list. right
Yeah,
in my
you
hand.
do have a list, and I don't.
So we've met twice. Okay, yep, and with another one to come. And some of the problems we've identified are the cost. You know, the budget for the district supplements by about $300,000 on top of what we get reimbursed. So how can we help that out? Low participation, about 50% are not eating school lunch. The logistics, oh my goodness, the logistics of getting food from one school to the other was, Marie, she amazed me when she told me how everything goes. It was like, wow. And then the limited menu that we have based on the restrictions that we have. So those are our major problems, and now we're just, as Sean said, it's information gathering. Amanda brought in Doug Meyer about... Greg Meyer, sorry, wrong Meyer, about like using fair animals and stuff like that. So again, any questions, comments, concerns, help, you can contact any of us on that. Anything to add, Amanda or Diane?
Our next meeting, we're going to be talking with somebody from Sheridan who does things a little bit different, maybe a little bit more like what we'd like to see. Right? Maybe?
Yep.
That's our next meeting at the WSBA conference.
Can I ask a question, just because I'm curious? On the 50% participation, is that as a result of the high school, or is it straight across the board from elementary through the high school?
K-12. So we have approximately, when we held the meeting the other day, it was 809 students ADM, and we serve approximately 300 a day. Approximately.
But how many?
We're about at 100 at West every day.
But
we're in between like 90 and 100 at West every day. And we have about-
percent?
No.
Total.
We have about 180 students, so we're 50 to 55%.
Yeah. And the high
Middle
school.
school has 179 students, and I think our max this year has been 80 students served on one day.
The high school's 15 to 20, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
So
we've had reports of a lot of waste that we're trying to prevent.
And when she talks about, I can't remember the wording, sorry, I was paying attention, but I don't remember the wording. The restrictions are, because we use the federal lunch program, so obviously through that you have to track sodium levels and how many green foods they eat and added fat and sugar and all the good pyramids. So those are the restrictions that Lou's talking about that hold us back from getting the great donations of beef and pork from the community. So we've gone as far as researching what districts in the state of Wyoming do not use the federal lunch program. So we've gone down a lot of rabbit holes of what ifs and let's talk about and look into.
Are you saying that you can't get meat donations?
You can, but there's restrictions put on them based on the nutrition value. Because they're allowed so much sodium per day and so much added fat per day and everything, so her week has to add up to X amount of nutrition. So, it's very interesting. She gave us a whole bunch of paperwork.
I'm going to highly recommend you talk to Commerce County.
Thank you.
We have an inn in Commerce County sitting right here, so. Good point, yeah, and that is one thing, we've got a list of people that we want to talk to around the state to see what else is going on, because we know it can't be done. So. Okay, any other committees? That's the only active committees we have, right? Okay. All right, WSBA, as far as I know, Ms. Hoffman, myself, I meant,
Not it.
you're not going?
Or I'm going, sorry, I thought you were asking about the delegate.
And Diane's going, and Clay is going, and Clay will be our delegate. Super.
Thank you.
For that, so. All right. Action items, anything else before we
I
get?
guess just, I thought it's interesting that, you know, as a delegate, you will be taking the consensus of the board to the vote, our board for that vote. Just FYI.
All right, on to new business. Let me get my papers organized again. It seemed like there was a lot of information tonight. All right, action items. B, new business. Number 1, the personnel list.
Madam Chair, I would move to approve the personnel hiring, resignations, and terminations.
Thank you.
I would second that.
Thank you. We have a first and a second. Any discussion, questions, or comments on the personnel hiring, resignation, and terminations?
Just to clarify, we do not have a Wheatland Middle School FFA advisor yet, correct?
We do.
That's what you're approving tonight,
Yeah.
Middle school?
middle school.
It's a middle school.
It does say WHS.
It says high school, but we're actually
So
approving middle school?
what happens, what has to happen is that since we don't have anybody teaching, Miss Souza's not teaching an ag class, she can't be the advisor on her own. Miss Rhoda, the state advisor, said that we could have an assistant under, she's mainly working under Mr. Dallas, but also I'm hoping that she'll have conversations with Mr. Teaton as well. But we could call it an assistant position since she's not teaching an ag class at the middle school.
Okay.
She's
It's
gonna be-
misleading to see high school.
She's
on
going to
here.
be doing all of the work at the middle school, but the way we have to word it for her to work with the state FFA program, we were advised to call it an assistant advisor.
And just, so you know, prior to school starting, we had a person lined up to teach the class and do the extra duty also. And I think the day before school started, that these are sending, she chose not to do that, so.
So
We
not
opened it
to,
up several times, that was the only applicant, correct, Josh?
Yep.
okay. So not to split hairs, but since finance is my thing, are we prorating that 5,800 there because it's past the beginning of school year? Like we've been doing with every coach we've tried to hire in the last 2 months? Because I know there was some coaching positions that were going to be prorated because they were way past the start date. I just didn't know if we were just going to go ahead and, there it is, here we go, or are we knocking 2 months of that out of there, or?
Probably need to check
Because
with
it is
Bill and see
late.
what kind of, like, what normal middle school activities are happening. Because they went to the
We
event
went
in
to
Casper,
the
correct?
Discovery conference last week. She attended, I went because she hasn't been approved yet, so she couldn't go alone. And I think maybe there's been a practice meets contest
Correct, in Laramie?
in Laramie already. That's been within the last 2 weeks, I believe.
So we can just look at that, Josh.
Yeah,
We
we
just
can.
amend that.
No, I'm just looking at it for a consistency
Yeah,
stance
yeah.
on,
I think
on
it's
what we've
good.
been doing, so.
It's really good.
All right, any further discussion or questions on personnel? All those in favor to approve the personnel hiring, resignation, and termination, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, no? Thank you. On to item 2. This is,
I would move to approve policy GCG, which was GCE, now GCG, per model coding. Part-time and substitute professional staff employment on second and final reading.
thank you. I have a first. Do I have a second?
I'll second that.
Thank you. Comments or questions on GCG?
I have a question. I understand the permanent part-time professional staff over 30 hours receives full benefits. My question is, we don't talk about the long-term subs, and what do you consider long-term? 21 days, is that how I read that?
So this policy was put in place just because we have 2 special ed positions that we weren't able to fill. So really, they started out as a substitute, but we never really had a person that replaced. And that was the whole intent of this policy. The model policy has them start at a VA but no benefits. So that was really the intent of this. When Shannon tried to find folks that, were looking at filling 2 special ed positions, it's really hard to go back to like 7.5 pay when they're doing the full extent with support of a certified teacher. So that was the whole reason this was put forward, to look at the model policy and adopt it. So our 2 long-term subs, which really are subbing for nobody because we couldn't find anybody. And that's really what other districts are doing. We're very lucky that we just have 2. Other districts have them in their core subjects. So we have 2 long-term subs. One young lady is going to be certified at the end of the first semester. The other person is in a special ed program, but isn't going to be to the point where they can get any other certification. So they're considered a long-term sub.
So I understand a long-term sub would mean they get full benefits?
Nope, they get full pay, but they're not eligible
For any other benefits?
No other benefits, like health insurance benefits.
Or retirement benefits?
No retirement, I believe. Jamie might know that details on that. I would look at more retirement benefits, but I don't think they are, but they do qualify for.
I think it's all a matter of whether or not they're considered temporary or not.
Yeah.
If we have,
Long-term subs to me is a temporary employee because you wouldn't
Yeah,
tenure
yeah,
them and
yeah,
anything like
yep.
that. Just so I'm clear on this idea.
Yep, and it even says that you don't get any years of experience. That's also part of the
Okay.
policy.
Yeah.
So we're just doing this. We were very lucky to get 2. Next year we have.
Those are the 2 that we introduced that one night.
Yes, yeah. And I'd like to have this be retroactive. We can go back and then pay them as that step 1 BA once we approve this policy.
Once they get it.
Yeah, if not, they could just leave and we'd be out of special ed teacher. So we struggled. And Shannon, if you want to share a little bit about anything in terms of the high need areas and issues we're running into with certification or
Yes,
lack
we-
of.
we have one at the middle school who's doing our highest need students right now. And we had nobody. It was going to be our 2 resource teachers having to take that on at the middle school, and there was just you just can't, because we have 6 kids over there right now. That's a full caseload for someone with intense ed kids. And then at the high school, I think we have full caseloads for both resource teachers and our intense ed teacher. So the way we've set it up support-wise is both of those long-term subs have 2 staff members, 2 sped teachers supporting them in each building. Plus they have a speech and language pathologist that covers both buildings. She is supporting them as well. Then myself and my 2 district case managers and my district psychologist, the 4 of us from my office are supporting. Josh has been really good between the 2 buildings when we did the transition this fall to support. Troy stepped up really nice supporting as well with our new one in his building. So I feel like we've got a really good support system in place. So we are providing the best we can in the situation we have, because we had nobody apply. We had nobody.
So when the one becomes certified, do you think, at the end of this semester?
One will be at the end of the semester, and I'm not sure the one at the high school, how long he has. I don't know if
2
Shannon
years,
knows
he'll
that.
have 2 years to become certified. And then both of them have committed to 3 years as certified teachers to our district. So, because I do support them in their education through the grant. And so they agree to stay 3 years after they've been certified to continue to contribute to Plat 1.
Okay.
If at some point they decide they need to go somewhere else, then they reimburse the grant for what they've been paid for.
So my real question is when that person becomes certified, does he switch from a full-time sub to a regular teacher and he gets, just so we have a
Yes.
clear
Yep.
understanding
Yep.
of what we're doing here?
Yeah,
is
yeah.
that he
Fully
becomes-
certified, they would be eligible for all the
benefits.
Yeah.
And then
Days off.
in the spring, again, we have to advertise the position. We have to advertise both positions in the spring, try to get certified teachers for the fall.
But the one that would be certified, he would just stay on if he chose to.
We'd
Yeah.
still have to advertise
We
it.
open it up before the second semester. But the chances of getting in some are slim.
I understand, I just
Yeah.
We
want
would hope to get a lot, but we haven't got any the last couple of years, actually.
Yeah.
It's been pretty slim. so.
You have over 30 openings every spring in SPED across the state, and it's just hard to fill them. There's just not enough in the pipeline to fill them.
Those are the questions I had, just so we.
Yeah,
Clear.
yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Anything else on policy GCG? Okay. All those in favor to approve policy GCG, part-time and substitute professional staff employment on second and final reading, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, no. Okay, item 3.
Madam Chair, I move to approve policy IIBH personal electronic devices on second and final reading.
I second that.
Thank you. Questions, comments?
Have we had any issues with the policy after we made those changes? I assume basically they're implemented anyway.
Yeah, clarification helped with some of the middle school parents, so that was good.
Okay. Perfect.
Any
Does it
further-
give you the tools you need to deal with issues?
For me, it has.
Yeah.
I think we've been very consistent. I haven't heard anything different. Have you guys? I think it's been very successful.
Kids are better off anyway, I think, probably.
Yes, they are.
They,
Well,
the middle school kids, you know, some of the teachers allow backpacks, some only want to see the Chromebook bag. I said, you need to follow what your teacher is expecting of you.
Yep.
So if they don't want your backpack, you need to make sure you have your Chromebook bag as a place to put it. But I think we've only had five warnings, so
Awesome.
it's been good.
And I'm sure the teachers appreciate that support.
I will give one positive. A teacher brought this up. So this is the smallest eligibility list she's ever seen, ever, last week. And she directly attributed it to just the fact that the kids don't have a way to be or as easily distracted with the phone.
Good.
So whether that's accurate or not, I don't know, but that's what she did say, so.
we'll take it as a positive.
That's right.
Absolutely.
Super.
Absolutely. All right, any further discussion or questions? All those in favor to approve policy IIBH, personal electronic devices on second and final reading, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? No. Okay, I guess I spoke too early, or too soon about the delegate. We do have to vote on it, so I'm sorry about that.
I make a motion to approve Clay Becker as a delegate to the WSBA Annual Conference 2025.
I'll second that.
Who are you giving that
It doesn't matter.
Did you give it to Clay or Chase? Or I mean, Doug or Chase?
to? Okay. All right, so since he volunteered, that's why I stated that, but that's, any questions or comments about that? Not, all those in favor to approve Clay as the delegate to the WSBA, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, no. All right. Item 5.
Madam Chair, I move to approve Wheatland High School Principal Troy Lake as an authorized signer on the impressed fund.
I'll second that.
Any questions or comments?
I guess I'm not familiar what the Impress Fund is.
So the Impress Fund is our current checking account that the school district uses to pay like activity officials, so we don't wait for a board meeting. When officials come to officiate, they want the check the same day.
Okay.
So Mr. Lake, and it still requires 2 signatures, so it would be more than likely Mr. Lake and Mr. Cochran as the activities director. But obviously,
Do we need to add Nick on, or is he already?
Nick is already on.
Okay.
Yep. So this is just an addition, and the bank needs it to reflect in your guys' board minutes.
Okay. All right, any further questions or comments? Okay. All those in favor to approve WHS Principal Mr. Troy Lake as an authorized signer on Impressed, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, no. All right, item 6, pole vault.
Madam Chair, I move to approve the Wheeling High School pole vault pit purchase from Ritchie Athletics for $22,940.
All right,
I'll second.
thank you. Questions or comments on this?
I just want to state that I feel like we've been spending a lot of money at the high school level. I know this is a joint use venture here because it's for all of our students, but we have been showing a lot of money out lately for high school athletics. And not that it changes much, but I would like to see some money going toward our middle school program at some point if there is a need for that. And obviously, I'm just making a statement here because I don't know what needs we have at that level right now for equipment. But the perception is we spend a lot of money on our high school programs. And obviously this one is a joint venture between the high school and the middle school because I have seen the middle school kids using it. But just throwing out the statement. So.
And it sounds like the bleachers at the middle school might be.
Yeah, and it's just one of those things like making sure we're being equitable to our other buildings when possible, so.
And I think as it was stated earlier, as long as it focuses on safety, then that's where our priority list goes. Okay, any further questions or comments on the pole vault? Okay. All those in favor to approve the WHS pole vault pit purchase from Ritchie Athletics for $22,940, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, no. Item 7.
Madam Chair, I'll move to approve the use of major maintenance funds to seek bids for engineering on the window HVAC system.
Thank you. Second. All right, thank you.
I have a question. Are we just seeking engineers to give us proposals, or are we hiring an engineer? So I have this understanding.
First step would be to put it out there and they'll put in there. We're seeking proposals. We're seeking a bid from each engineer. And then we can hire from there for them to head up the project.
So we're not authorizing the use of major maintenance funds for that because we haven't even spent any. You're just going to put it out to bid for an engineering firm, aren't we?
We're looking for bid for engineering funds.
And I guess the understanding is if we select one of those engineering firms after they provide proposals, we'll use the funds from major maintenance.
Pay for it, yeah.
Because we might not select any of them if they come in ridiculous. And it depends. Any idea how many bids we might have, Jim?
When we had the high school the other day, there was 20 different engineers, which was awesome. So I made sure to get all their cards, so hopefully we'll see quite a few. And just a side note, if I had to guess, when it's said and done, that one floor Glendo's, it'd be probably somewhere in that $30,000 price range.
Just for the engineering.
And then for the engineering side and the living one's probably to be around 18 to 25, but just a rough estimate.
Further questions or comments on the?
My comment is that we're not really, at this point, using major maintenance funds for this project. We're just asking for some quotes, and then we'll use the major maintenance funds. And it sounds technical, but we're saying we're going to approve the use of major maintenance funds, but
It's premature.
yeah, I think it's premature. I don't have a problem with asking for bids. And maybe I'm just too technical on this, but I've been down this road a lot, so.
Well, I think it makes it clear too of where, if we do spend funds, where it comes out of. So I hear your point, but I also like the clarity of it, that it says if we approve a bid, we know where the money's going to come from.
Jim, did Karen Moon ask you to do it this way, or did you have a scope of work they're looking at?
She said it would be best to have you guys prove it this way, just so,
She did.
like she said, that way everyone knew what was going on with major maintenance. Bring it out for bid.
So if you're just going to to bid for the engineer, then we have to come back and approve it a second time anyway. Is that your point? That
Yeah.
it's-
I don't have a problem, I just want to make sure what you were doing.
Yeah.
It sounds to me like the bids are gonna cost us money out of the maintenance.
Yes.
This is what it looks like.
And the
In the
bids
wording.
won't cost the
When we approve their proposals,
Yes,
when
the
we get to
proposals won't
start
cost
paying.
anything, but then we'll approve the money from the major maintenance fund for whatever we select.
So if we leave it the way it is, nothing changes because we're not spending any money, or we can amend it and change it to take out the major maintenance? I'm asking a question. Does it,
We're not going to spend any money tonight anyway.
Yeah.
yeah,
I think we have clarity. I think it's
Yeah.
fine, but that's how it is.
When's the deadline, Jim? In the proposals, when you sent those out, or have you sent them out yet?
No, they're ready to be sent out. So once we send them out, we gotta get, I'm trying to remember the dates on those. I think we gave them 60 days for proposal.
Okay.
On the next one too, so I don't ask the same question?
Yes.
Okay.
okay.
So they're ready to be, yeah. They're ready to be.
Anything further on the Glendo HVAC system for the engineer bids? Okay, all those in favor to approve the use of major maintenance funds to seek bids for engineering the Glendo HVAC system, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed, no. Item 8 for Libby.
Madam Chair, I'll move to approve the use of major maintenance funds to seek bids for engineering for the Libby HVAC system.
I'll second that.
Thank you. Any questions or comments or discussion? We'll just write same.
No, I'm fine.
Okay. All right, all those in favor to approve the use of major maintenance funds to seek bids for engineering the Libby HVAC system, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, no. And with that, we are ready to enter into executive session, which would be the end of your time here. You're more than welcome to wait and come back and see what we have to say after we get out of it, but there won't be anything else going on. If I may have a motion to move into executive session, please.
I move to go into executive session pursuant to section 16-4-405 A double I.
I'll second that.
7:20? Yeah,
Guess we'll vote on it.
yep, any questions, comments? Okay, all right, all those in favor to
Approve to enter into executive session, WS 16-4-405 AII for personnel. Please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? No?
Stay.